I've been interested in fashion for like a really long time, like since I was like, I don't even know, like 8 or something. I always knew I wanted to go to fashion school. I had an aunt who did that, and I kind of wanted to follow in her footsteps. I wanted to go to New York and experience all that stuff, go to art school.
Nice. For people that do not know, you're going to hear it in a lot of different places on Cosign, our podcast, or different, BTS episodes as we're rebuilding and relaunching the Go to the Lamp. You'll hear us talk about our fantastic designer, our amazing designer. She is, everybody. This is the fantastic designer that we keep talking about. People are going to see your face. I'm sure they've already started to see your face out there a bit. And just talk about your experience with Atlas. What was it like? There was a lot going on for season 5.
It was very busy. It was definitely very busy. And I think like at the time their whole MO was like, okay, every time I do a new show, how can we make it better? Which is, that's what you should do. It's really good. But yeah, more people are hearing about it. Also, like Phoenix is growing so much, especially unexpectedly the fashion scene, and so many people want to be involved, like more than what was probably even needed. But yeah, that made it really powerful when it finally came to present. And I think also that was like okay, so for the designers, you are preparing months in advance, like maybe like 4 months or something. And it's like awkward at first because you're kind of isolated. You're kind of just like in your own world, making your stuff. And then as you get closer, like way closer, like 2 weeks before, it's like, okay, we finally do the rehearsal. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. Like we're all doing something. We're all a little bit stressed. We have the models do their walk. And that's like when it starts to like, you're like, oh, okay, like something cool is about to happen. And it's also nice to see when the models get excited, and because then they like bring their best and they get really in character, which is like also part of what makes it come alive. That's like what it felt like for season 5. Like whatever music choice I had, I think it was like that jazz song that was like 13-minute song, and it was just like very dramatic. And like Bethany comes out at the end, and it has like the long train with like the purple flower print, and it's just like very like like even though it's like whatever mistakes would happen, whatever like construction things I didn't have time for, it's like, oh, it kind of just didn't matter in that moment. It's like, okay, like everyone gets the vision, which is a really satisfying feeling.
You have one of my favorite sayings.
What did I say?
You say fashion is world building, fashion is storytelling. I love it because it's so true. And I think that's one of the reasons Lad and I were like, we got to have her on our team. She got to be a part of our team because it just fits so perfectly with what we are doing with the Go to the Lamb. Literally in the middle of doing right now, where we're shifting from being just a clothing brand to driving the narrative with stories and original storytelling. And once we decided, let's be more than a clothing brand, and let's do this thing from the aspect of stories that are all centered around fashion. And then meeting you and just having the like-mindedness, it was just meant to be.
Yeah. No, and I feel like I relate so much to that like multifaceted way of looking at things. Like it's like, yes, sometimes clothing is required to tell that story. Sometimes it's film required to tell that story. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes it's poetry. It's just a matter of like, I don't know, listening to what's going on.
Nice. But seriously, it's so awesome to have you on the team. And let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what have we done together? What can people expect with our first drop, which is the cropped hoodie? Let's get into that.
Yes. Yeah, we spent a lot of time developing and like really nailing down how we wanted things to look. And you could kind of like take a bunch of shortcuts with something like a hoodie, but it's like, I want this to be something that's comfortable, something that's elevated, something that feels good, you want to wear all the time. Really thinking about those details of like, like how it looks, not just when your hands are out of it, but when your hands are sitting in it, and how it pulls on the body, and how it can look good on different body types, since it is a unisex sizing.
Yeah, it was a fun process. It definitely took a while, but I would say it's worth it. It was worth it. It's all about the details. Make sure to get all those details right. So, and I think we did.
Yeah. And then we went through so many because when we were first talking about embroidery, I don't think that what we have now is actually what we were first talking about. I think it went through like multiple ideas. I don't even know if we were on the same page for all of those ideas. I think we were maybe had different things in our heads. But I really like where we landed, especially with like the contrast stitching and like the subtlety of it, like the tone on tone and then like the subtle texture.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. It took a minute for that, and it did evolve. I think we all were on the same page with like the elevated stitch or some type of elevated texture, but we just didn't know exactly what that was going to look like, what we wanted to be. But I do agree. I love where we landed, and I hope that I'm excited for it to get in the hands of other people, and I'm excited for them to get a hoodie. This is the plug. This is the shameless plug part where it's like, hey, everybody, that hoodie. Yeah, I'm excited for it because I think people will also appreciate the details and the time that we put into that hoodie.